Hello, everyone, and welcome Open for Business. We're here at the Area 52 TV studios, and today we are meeting with Nickey Friedman. Nickey Friedman is the local representative for a company called Sanctuary Decks. Sanctuary Decks. I know that sounds like a duck rescue, but that's really not what it's about, is it?
No.
No. And we also have coming in with us via Zoom link, Stephen Stubblefield. Stephen will be joining us in a little bit when we begin to talk about what Sanctuary Decks is all about. Nickey, can you give us a brief introduction to Sanctuary Decks?
Well, we are a crypto software.
Oh.
We make crypto useful. We make the transaction between two people, peer-to-peer, without, of course, an intermediate person. Right? And we
Okay.
also provide merchants with the same solution. And actually, we want to let everyone know that, it's safe. Our name says it all, Sanctuary.
Oh, this is a pretty interesting concept. I'm used to seeing Bitcoin, and that's like the closest thing I get to, cryptocurrency
Right.
is buying and selling, Bitcoin. And what you're talking about, though, is, peer-to-peer, meaning we connect through a clearinghouse of some kind. Would that be an easy way to understand it in trading our crypto coins?
Well, when
Or
we
cryptocurrency?
make it easy for you, for me to send you crypto,
Okay.
right? We have a mobile app that people download.
Okay.
That is all complimentary. It's all free, and also we make it that you guys can not only transact between each other, but for business to actually receive payments from other people and other business, and still be, secured and safe.
Using
and no
something
one sees
other
their address.
than the dollar, basically. Stephen, are you out there? Can we go ahead and bring Stephen in for a second? Because I want to ask him a question about, hey, Stephen, there you are. Hi.
Howdy. Well, thank you for giving Nickey and I some time to speak with you today. Appreciate that.
Oh, well, we're excited to have you on the show. There have been a lot of headlines lately about crypto and a lot of different aspects of it. How have those stories, those events impacted Sanctuary Decks? Because there's so much going on there.
Yeah, 2022 was full of bad headlines for cryptocurrencies, and a lot of them were involved around these centralized entities that really took possession of their customers' crypto funds and basically lost them, right? So FTX collapsed. That was the largest centralized exchange to collapse, and a lot of people were impacted by that. And as a result, there's been a lot of regulation introduced by the SEC trying to protect future investors from similar occurrences. What makes Sanctuary Decks different, and how our users were not impacted by any of that, is we're a software company that empower our customers to self-custody their cryptocurrency. Their crypto is never held by a third party. It's never held by Sanctuary Decks. It's on their mobile phones. It's on their mobile wallets. It's on their gift cards. They have self-sovereignty over their wealth in crypto.
That sounds a little bit like something we used to call, what is it? Oh, yeah, cash.
Cash, that's right.
Where
it's,
you
it's
hold
internet
onto
cash.
your own.
So with
It's
cash
encrypted
today,
somewhere, but
two people today, if they want to exchange cash, they have to be at the same place at the same time. With cryptocurrency, you can deal 24/7, and as long as the sender has access to the internet, the receiver can see the crypto that they received at any time.
yeah, the next time they get on the internet. So
Yep.
Now, is this what is meant by the difference between centralized versus decentralized?
Yeah, that's what I didn't mention. We are decentralized. And we're not
yeah, but is that
centralized.
really what you mean? There isn't like a big vault somewhere with everybody's crypto in it that can then be stolen, okay, because it's being housed, warehoused, so to speak, in somebody's software. This actually gets deposited directly into a crypto wallet, just like you'd have for your cash. Is that correct? Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, the funds are actually on the blockchain. Your wallet is really just a user interface to show you what you own on the blockchain. The crypto it's called a wallet, but it's really a misnomer because the crypto never resides there. It's always on the blockchain. And as long as you have the private keys, you can sign a digital transaction, you can take control over those assets. You can send them to a smart contract, you can send them to another person. You're in control of those assets. Nobody can stop you from doing that. And nobody can intercept that transaction.
That's intriguing. So I come from a bit of a banking background, and so I'm accustomed to the classic model of a clearinghouse somewhere, making sure all of this stuff is being, monitored and properly regulated, and somebody gets to look at everything. And if a transaction comes in over a certain size, you get to, put a hold on it. So what you're saying is this can bypass.
Correct.
Those systems.
And it's recorded on the blockchain.
Okay.
It's an immediate settlement, and there's no clawback.
So no intermediary.
Right.
Yep.
Immediate transaction between the two parties.
Between you
literally
and I.
peer to peer. That actually just mind boggles me a little bit because I see a lot of fantastic potential. Considering all the talk about heading towards a new digital currency, and what would be the difference between something like this and that new digital currency that everybody's talking about? Having governments go to the what is it, CDC?
CBDC, correct. Central bank
Digital currency. What would be the difference between these two? Let me kind of throw you a curveball there.
Well. Central bank, so it's centralized, right?
Let's
get the first word in there.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah.
I'll point out the advantages of CBDC to a government, right? So during COVID, we had the stimmy checks, right? People got stimulus checks. People that didn't need funds still got the same funds. So with the CBDC, a government can better pinpoint who receives those assets, and not only who receives assets, but how much they receive, and also can control how they spend that CBDC coin. So the stimulus checks were to stimulate the economy. So if somebody wanted to buy cryptocurrency with their stimulus check, the U.S. government could say, no, that's not stimulating the economy. You can't do that. But if you need to fix your car, if you need to buy groceries, if you need to put gas in your tank, it would be approved.
Okay,
But the bad news is.
I thought that was the bad news. Hang on a minute. Okay.
It could also be declined.
Yes.
So, it's not the same as cash.
Right. So by decline, meaning they could, the third party could make a mistake. The intermediary, the central control could make a mistake, and which would then cause your card or whatever it is you're using, your smart wallet, to be disabled temporarily or however that works, which is a real issue. How does this work in terms of uptime? Is there ever a time, if you have the app, that there might be a delay in processing? There might be, it's like, well, I have here that I sent you the payment, but you're standing here holding on to the new mop I'm buying, and it's saying I haven't been paid yet. Is it working just about real time like that?
Well, blockchain technology is up 365, 24/7.
Okay.
It's always running.
Okay.
Whenever bring in an intermediary or centralized entity, they can bring latency into play. Either they have server issues or they have network connectivity issues.
Mm-hmm.
Or, for example, with Coinbase, one of the largest centralized exchanges in the U.S., when there's a lot of price volatility in cryptocurrency, many people can't access their account to make a trade, to buy or sell.
Okay.
And with price volatility, with price or the transaction, we usually call that gas fees.
Okay.
Yeah.
The transaction fees. And
right.
usually when more people are on like the information highway, it will slow it down just a little.
Okay.
Just like everything else.
Right. And I mean, you expect there to be, some, futzing around, but how is your platform not actually, how is Sanctuary Dex not serving as a centralized clearinghouse? How is that? What is the difference? If Sanctuary Dex goes down, your website goes offline, whatever, okay, do we still get to play and pay, is what I'm getting.
Yes, your mobile wallet, as long as you have access to the internet, you'll still have your cryptocurrency.
So the actual software to run it is in the app. It's not in a centralized location. That's what you're getting at. Am I right? That's
Correct.
brilliant. That's brilliant. Everybody has their own copy of the software. So that explains how you can literally connect two people, much like, you can't even say it's like a phone call, because even the phone calls still go through the phone company. Mm-hmm. This is as direct can get. I have ham radio. It's like
so the
ham
voice over
radio
IP,
with
it's cash
frequency.
over IP.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Exactly what he just said. Cash.
Yes. That is
Cash over
absolutely
IP.
phenomenal. So, what can we expect from Sanctuary Direct? After 2022, all the problems, all the issues, we're now in 2023, we're now, 3.5 months in. What are we looking at as your roadmap for the rest of the year? What are you planning on doing to get this out more?
Well, I'm going to leave that part to Stephen, but what I want everyone to know is whether you're a small business or a large business or even a, organization, what my job is, I want people to know that it's here to stay. It's not a fad. Okay? And more people, the more we let people know that, crypto is the new form of money, the new form of, cash.
Mm-hmm.
And you can trust it, especially when it comes to a decentralized software like we have.
So as long as the internet is up, it's okay.
So I would like people to know that if you are any of those business, small business, big business, company that receives donations, if you're not taking any kind of crypto, you're leaving a lot of money on the table.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
So then, let's get back. Stephen, I want you to finish. What are your thoughts about the rest of 2023?
I think the next wave of crypto adoption is going to be with the tokenization of securities and real world assets. Larry Fink, the CEO and founder of BlackRock, one of the largest holders of U.S. equities and bonds in the U.S., has stated publicly that he sees the tokenization of securities being the next big thing, and it'll actually dwarf the entire market cap of cryptocurrency. Today, if you look at the total market cap of all crypto, including Bitcoin, it's half the market cap of one stock, Apple. Okay. So that's how small it is in size. So if you can imagine just tokenizing the Apple stock and publishing it on the blockchain, you've already dwarfed cryptocurrency in size. And that's just one asset that BlackRock is looking at tokenizing. They've already tokenized an S&P 500 mutual fund and published it to the blockchain.
Yep.
So they
you could actually, if I'm, again, my mind's racing. I spent 10 years at a very large Wall Street firm, and my mind is racing here on the fact that what you're talking about is I could come to you at the farmer's market and buy eggs with a fractional share of Apple stock. Am I reading that potentially right?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Yeah.
Could I go to the farmer's market and buy a dozen eggs and pay for it with a fractional share of Apple stock? Is that what it would mean to tokenize it?
No, that's
No.
different.
Okay, good. All right.
But hopefully, when you do get the farmers market and they take crypto,
Right.
we can aid in that process where you can pay for that egg in crypto through our mobile app. But
Okay.
what Steven's talking
Right.
about is tokenization. Maybe if you could explain that just a little bit
Yeah.
differently, Steven.
Yeah. Stephen, can you delve into that?
That clearinghouse scenario you mentioned, once securities are tokenized and published to the blockchain, the clearinghouse is obsolete. There's one truth. It's published on the blockchain on who owns that particular share. Anybody can look at the blockchain,
Right.
look at that QSIP number of that share, and see what wallet address holds that QSIP number. It eliminates negative short selling of stock. It addresses so many issues currently rampant in the legacy financial system today.
So it would eliminate short selling?
It won't eliminate short selling. It eliminates naked short selling. So a naked short.
No,
Today
what it is.
you can short a stock. You can borrow stock, but the shares have to exist. You have to have permission to borrow them. You sell them in hopes that the price will go down, and you make your money buying them at a smaller price.
Of course.
However, sometimes people will sell shares short that they didn't borrow. And that's called a naked short sell.
Right.
So shares are created.
Okay. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. It's really not germane to this. It is to me because I've done, but the tokenization means that everything has its own basically RFID tag at that point, and anybody can look on the internet and find it wherever it is. Boom. I mean, it's not actually an RFID tag on your stock certificate,
right.
but you get the point.
Right.
So everything is ID'd and labeled. There's no shares hiding in the back of a closet somewhere.
Exactly.
Okay. So the tokenization of real world assets. If Apple is twice the size of the entire crypto market, what are we looking at for an actual factor beyond that? Do we know how much the total global markets of real world assets is?
I've heard that by 2030 it will exceed 200 trillion.
Wow.
But I still think that's a very small fraction of you're talking real world assets. So globally, remember, Bitcoin is a global phenomenon. It's just not in the United States.
Of course.
Yeah.
But really, I think with all the people who have become aware of it, and it's just floating out there. Am I correct in looking at your website here that one of the things people can do is contact you directly, Nickey,
correct,
and set up at their business or themselves personally, but really you're interested in the business applications, I'm sure, business foundations, charities, so on and so forth, to make it possible for them to exchange in a non-centralized cryptocurrency to do business as they see fit, as if they were doing cash business. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Are there any fees on these transactions?
Well, there is a minimum fees. It's a transaction fees.
Okay.
So basically, just like MasterCard, Visa,
right,
they charge you transaction fees.
Of
when
course.
you deal with the crypto side of it, merchant accounts or individual, you as a business don't get to handle any fees. You receive. That's why it's great for businesses that's taking donations. The person who is the buyer, they know about the gas fees, the transaction fees.
Sure.
They're the one who's taking care of the transaction fees.
So what is the average typical transaction fee? I walk into the local, bookstore and I want to buy $50, or let's make it easy, $100 in books, okay, from my local bookstore. What would the transaction fee that I would pay as a buyer
Right.
to use
There's
crypto
different,
in that
depends
case.
on what crypto you're using, which is
Okay.
Bitcoin, Doge, Ethereum.
Oh.
We deal with the top cryptos that's already in circulation,
Right.
that is popular. We don't just pick out any or
No.
let you use any 1,700 crypto. We deal with the top cryptos that we know is already vetted. We know that's already working. We know that's already trusted.
Okay.
You know, I'm going to let Stephen answer some of the questions where certain amount, because let's take, for example, Doge. It's very small. It could be like, what, 2 cents at some of the transactions, Stephen?
Yeah, we set our gas limit on Doge at 1 Doge per transaction, which is like 9 cents. So the $100 in books you could pay for 9 cents transaction fee.
And that's not the business paying, that's the buyer paying.
That's the
That's
buyer
correct.
paying it.
That's
So
the
there's a
sender.
great benefit to the business because
Exactly.
they're losing, 2.5 to
Businesses will save
3%
a lot of
on
money.
every transaction. That's killing them.
Exactly.
And so pushing their customers into using it and paying, in that case, in the Dogecoin, the 9 cents. And however, and of course, they still have to charge sales tax on it.
Right.
Okay, so
We can't
obviously
escape
that
that.
still has to process, and that all has to happen. And then, okay, so it really is about the stores, whatever it is, the retailers, the merchants, educating their customers
Right.
on using using this particular app to pay when you come into the store. And that allows for that peer-to-peer. Well, actually, yes, it's not peer-to-peer. What do you call that? Peer-to-business? What?
We
Is
have we have the merchant account.
Yeah, the merchant
but
account.
between
yeah.
you and I, it's called peer-to-peer.
Okay. Okay. Just to use
So
the
you
merchant
and I,
account
if
for
we
that.
were to transact between us,
Sure.
I would know your address. But if you were to transact buying an egg from a grocery store,
Yeah.
let's say that little mom and pop store,
Yeah. Yeah, the
is now
$40
signed up
egg
with
that we
us,
now buy,
we
yes.
would provide a QR code for that merchant, for that store.
Ah,
So all I do is scan
okay.
it through our mobile app.
Oh, there
And
you go.
I would never see their address
No,
because
the-
it's their own privacy that we have for our businesses. That's why it's different. If you're gonna, run a business, you want to sign up with our merchant account because, you're protected. No one needs to know what your businesses bring in. And if you are someone who's receiving donation, like a church or something, you don't want everyone to know how much donation you're getting. So that's why it's best to sign up with our merchant account.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
I see a lot of reasons that federal centralized government, especially tax agencies, would have a lot of concerns about this. Do you see any regulations or anything on the horizon that might inhibit the ability to engage in these kinds of financial
Well,
transactions?
first of all, regulation is good, because then people would understand more, and also they actually feel safe when there's regulations. It's not always a bad thing. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Stephen?
Yeah, we're definitely looking for regulatory clarity around cryptocurrencies. That's become a common discussion behind closed doors and even in open committees now. There's been a lot of concern from Congress about stable coins. They're focused on stable coins possibly disrupting the U.S. dollar, or maybe the banking industry that takes deposits that backs up those stable coins. And we have seen some disruption. Silvergate Bank and Silicon Valley Bank were both significant players in this crypto stablecoin market. So there are, we anticipate some regulatory clarity around that, and we look forward to working with regulators to make sure that our products are in compliance,
Right.
and our customers are in compliance.
So
Absolutely.
basically, you're at a stage now where you aren't so much worried about them just coming and going, nope, can't do that, and shutting it off somehow. It's because it's gone so big, and because it's global, and because it is peer-to-peer, it's almost they're taking a step back and saying, okay, we want to make sure this is safe for our citizens. That's our primary concern, that we don't run into another, SVB or whoever was, stealing crypto by serving as a clearinghouse. And correct? I got that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good. Very good. So quickly, how can businesses contact you, Nickey? Okay. What is the best way to reach you?
Well, we have a website. You
Okay.
can go to sanctuarydex.com.
Okay.
I mean, you could scan the QR code directly, and we also have a Zoom for those who don't understand it yet and want to understand it more. We have a complimentary Zoom class that we put on twice a month.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people can sign up for that all through our website.
All right. Through the website. And your phone number, I think, is also up on the web. Okay. There's the Sanctuary Dex there. But I think we also have your phone number up there in case anybody wants to contact you directly. 832-647-7485.
That's it.
Yep.
Excellent.
And then my
Yeah.
direct line is right there as well.
Okay. The 562-201-0606.
Yes,
Perfect.
sir.
And so people can go ahead and get through to you. Look, I really want to thank, though, this has been incredibly enlightening for me. And I actually feel a ton of relief.
Right.
Because the whole digital currency thing has been keeping me up at night. Not because I'm doing anything illegal, but because I just don't want to be told what I can and can't do.
Yeah, we can't cover everything on this segment, but
No, but-
cryptocurrency is a huge elephant that we can't just
No, we can't
do it in
ignore it
one
anymore.
day.
Thank you all very much. This was absolutely fantastic. Have a wonderful day. Take care.
You're welcome.